Hi, guys. Ah, technology issues today. So I hope everybody can see me. Today's a very exciting day. All right, let me go to my channel. Make sure all good. Yay! Jared's already here. AV check. Yay! So, guys, I have a very special guest today. Before I reveal my guest, I just wanted to give you a couple of announcements. So, first of all, tonight is the big quilt nerding interview with Dawn Ronigan. So, if you've been following along with us, we just finished reading her book. I can't stand looking at myself, so we just finished reading her book, which is Antique American Needlework Tools, and she so kindly agreed to come on and let us interview her. So whether you've read the book or not, if you want to hear some very cool things from a historian, a collector, an author, an all-around cool person, join us tonight. It's at 7 p.m. On the Quilt Nerding channel on YouTube. And yeah, we'll be having some fun there. Also, tomorrow we're picking back up on our normal schedule with quilt nerding, and that book we will be starting is Legacy. And if you were here last Thursday, I read Nancy Lou Burdick's paper about Tallulah Bottoms, who is her, I think her grandmother or great grandmother, can't remember now. But Tallulah Bottoms was a very interesting woman, and I think we got very interested in her even more when we read Nancy Lou's paper. So this is what we'll be starting. And there is a very cool pattern book that goes with this if you're interested. We won't do anything really with the pattern book because we're just, doing the quilt history part of it. But this is the pattern book, also by Nancy Lou Burdick. So that will be very exciting. And I hope you can join us for that. And then my final announcement is this Thursday, we are going to start, or we're going to do our first online quilt study. And I just have a small group of quilts, but I have another special guest who is going to come and look at those quilts with us. So put it on your calendar on Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And I will do a little announcement on who that special guest is, but trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. And if you can't join us live on Thursday, be sure to watch the replay because I promise you it is somebody that you know and love and you haven't seen in a while. Wink, wink, wink. And they agreed to come and they're very excited. And we're going to look at quilts together and do an online quilt study. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my dear friend, Tish. You guys know her as Quiltish. She recently returned home from an incredible journey. I am so jealous. She went to the UK and saw some wonderful things, and then went to, and I'm not even going to bother trying to sound French, the Pour l'Amour du Fil, which is for the love of thread. And that is put on by Quiltmania. And it was a wonderful thing. And just looking at her pictures, I was so excited. And she's going to come on and tell us all about it. So let me unmute and get her back on here. All right, Tish, let me see. I think you're probably going to have to unmute yourself and start your video yourself. I muted you and took away. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Tish. I hope I
Uh-oh.
haven't lost you. Oh, there you are.
I am. Yay.
It's
Technology.
working. It's working.
I can work a sewing machine, not a computer.
That's okay. Priorities, right?
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much
You
for
did
joining
pretty
us
good with
today.
the pronunciation. Oh, thank you. My pleasure. I'm excited. It was
That,
an amazing trip. Pour
yeah, so
l'amour du fil.
what?
Pour l'amour du fil.
Okay. Yeah, I won't try.
Yeah, my French is really bad too, but
Well, and you live in Canada. Um,
I,
I don't know how close to the French-speaking region of Canada you live in, but we don't really have a French-speaking region here in the US. So
well, that's true. Louisiana, there's a lot of Cajuns there.
this is true. This is true.
Not unlike our version of French, which is not Parisian French. I took French from third grade all the way through high school. My French is terrible. Just saying.
Well, at least you got a little bit of it. So, um,
Yeah, my daughter is bilingual.
oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And
Yeah,
I'm always jealous of folks that were able to get another language in when they were younger because that's really how you best learn is to have had
yeah,
that, when you're young. So,
yeah.
all right. Well, so tell
So
us,
what do
like,
you want to
tell
know?
us everything. So
Wow. It
I
was
guess so. Real quick before we get into it, so the French event, it was the last of its kind because it was put on by Quilt Mania, correct?
no,
No.
they are going
Okay.
to show will continue, even though Quilt Mania unfortunately um is bankrupt, will not be continuing. At least not as in that iteration. I don't know if they have other plans, but they said that the show will go on.
Okay, that's great to hear because
And
I've
it is well worth going to. It was truly a bucket list trip. Yeah.
awesome. And you went with a friend, right? You didn't go like on a tour. This was like
No,
a
well, yes and no. I went with a friend, was my cousin's wife, who's also a textile nerd. Um, we went to London first on our own, um, and did as much textile stuff as we could. We then joined a tour through ECT Travel out of Bath in the UK to do the Pour l'Amour show because
okay.
I've never been to that area. I didn't know what it would be like getting a hotel and all that. And that was a great decision because the tour was so well organized. We had a tour guide. There was only 12 in the group. We had a tour guide. We it's in Nantes, France, Nantes, pronounced Nantes. Um, we got to ride on the local football team, soccer team bus, which was quite funny because all the little kids in town saw the football bus come in to the town in town square, and they're thinking football players are going to get off, but no, it was old ladies.
A bunch of textile nerds.
So yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my
So that
gosh,
was funny.
that's too funny. I love it.
But it was
Well,
great because she could make dinner reservations and recommend places to go. And so we really, really, really appreciated being on an organized tour and not just doing it on our own.
yeah, I
Um,
think that I definitely would concur. I haven't done a whole lot of international travel, but what I have done, it was very helpful to be with kind of safety in numbers where you don't know like
yeah,
quite, like
yeah,
getting into this city and what do they expect from us and all the stuff. It's
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
helpful.
And any issues that came up, she was able to handle and speak French on our behalf. And so that was very helpful.
That's awesome. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's start with your trip to the UK. And I have some of your
Okay.
Instagram photos pulled up. So
Okay.
I'll pull this up and you walk us through. Because I mean
Okay.
you saw fantastic things there too.
Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah. We
all right.
planned it so that we saw the, oh, yes. Tower of London, not London Bridge, sorry.
Hmm.
Um,
So yeah, this is like iconic, right?
exactly. The weather was great. Um, London in April can be iffy, but we had reasonably warm weather, no rain. So that was good. And
Awesome.
there's a park all the way along the river that has these fabulous sculptures in it. So I was
Yeah.
sharing my water with the bunny here.
And are these book characters I should know, or were they just like fun
No, no,
sculptures? Okay.
there's a whole series of sculptures of different animals all along. I think it's where they had a lot of the Olympic events back when they had the Olympics in London.
Right, right.
Uh,
Okay.
so there's like a row of animals on a bicycle, and there's animals playing chess, and they were very cool.
Yeah, I thought these were really cute. And the reason I ask about like, are these storybook characters that maybe we should know is because there is a storybook
No.
character you took a picture of who is much
Oh,
loved, which
yes,
I
there
think we'll
is.
get to soon.
Yeah, we'll get to him. Yeah.
Okay. So this large
And this,
lentil, I don't know what this thing
I
is.
I don't know, but it was just after Easter, so I was thinking it was an Easter egg, but probably wasn't.
It reminds me of in Chicago, the bean. Um,
Exactly, yes.
yeah, that's what when I saw this, I
Very
was like,
much the
oh,
same.
it's like little
Yeah.
baby bean or something.
Yes.
All right. A little
Okay,
bit of impressionist painting.
we went to the Tate art gallery, and they had a John Singer Sargent exhibit on of how he handled textiles in his paintings.
How
So
awesome.
some of the paintings had the dress on display that was worn in the painting,
Oh,
which was
wow.
very
Okay.
cool. It was There was a lot of controversy. Some people said, "Oh, why did they put those dresses in there? We just wanted to see the paintings." But we wanted to see the dress and how it was painted, and he did an amazing job of painting folds and flow and movement in the textiles. So we appreciated
Yeah,
that
I love that.
part.
And it's so funny that you mentioned that, textile people wanting to see the dress and the painting. Um, I was recently talking to somebody who was kind of disappointed when they were discussing textiles and quilts with a historical costuming person because the person was like, yeah, dressmaking and quilts are they're irrelevant. Like they aren't in the same. And it's like, no, wait a minute.
Whatever.
There's a lot of
Mm.
overlap there, you know? Like the people made the
Yeah,
dresses, then they use the scraps to make the quilts. Both are important. And
exactly.
yeah, so
Yep, I
yeah.
agree. But yeah, not everybody felt that way. I must say the Sargent does a really weird job of painting hands. He's amazing at fabric and faces. His hands are very odd.
Hide the hands just like Chat GPT.
Yeah, well, they were like fingers were like twice as long as they should have been, and yeah, it was kind of funny.
All right. So this was Sergeant in Fashion. This was the
Yeah,
I guess like
yeah.
the main thing. So this goes through
That
July.
was,
Okay. So
yeah.
our UK
So not too
friends,
late.
yeah, if you have not seen this, our UK friends, or if you're going to the UK between now and the summer,
Yeah,
looks like a good one.
it was excellent. Yes,
And
that was that was the floor in the restaurant we went to at lunchtime.
and that's what I was going to ask you. Where was this? Raise your hand if you've ever taken a picture of floor tiles, upholstery, wallpaper, carpet, like whatever in a public place
Yeah,
because it had a quilt pattern.
yeah, exactly. You need to.
I love that. Okay. Now, oops, it was
Oh,
going backwards. That was
my
your.
eclipse picture. You don't need that.
Now, here's our favorite
Oh,
little guy.
Paddington. He was this weird flocked blue. I'm not sure why.
So that's what he
Um,
looked like to me. Like, was he fuzzy? Could you touch him?
yes, yes, it was fuzzy. Yes. I don't
And
know
I
why.
wonder,
Like I said, that
is the fuzz wearing
weird.
off where people have touched him?
It seemed to be, but I don't know how long it's been there. Um, and he, of course, had to have his marmalade sandwiches in his suitcase, I'm guessing, but yeah,
Oh, I just love Paddington so much. And
it's
this was so
cute.
cute. And when I see this color, this is not quite the same color, but I think of Yves Klein blue, which is that very like, I don't know, very stark
Yeah,
blue. And that kind of is what this reminds. So I'm wondering if this is somebody that is like into color statements that produced this.
yeah,
So,
maybe. It was outside the Paddington tube station, of course. So seemed appropriate.
oh, there's
Oh,
another
back
one
to
with the
the
bean. Oh, oh, okay.
oh, we're
What
back to
is
the
this?
oh, this is the Fashion and Textile Museum. Um, they had an exhibit on of a designer called Biba. It was
Okay.
Barbara, can't think of her last name. She had a design house in London in the 60s, early 60s, that grew to the point that she had department stores that had clothing and fabric, textiles, and you know, bedding and that sort of thing. I really coveted this coat. I wanted it to bring home.
Oh, no
It
kidding.
just
I mean,
looked so comfy. But the clothing was from the early 60s to mid 70s. Um, but all very wearable today. It
mhm.
didn't seem really dated at all.
Yeah,
And
I
that
mean,
was kind of
cheetah
a
print.
faux fur. It's beautiful.
Uh-huh. All right. Now
Oh,
this.
then we went fabric shopping in London, um, to an area in the West End called Shepherd's Bush. And a lot of the fabric there was similar to what we can buy here in the textile area. Um, but this one store had fabrics that they had put their own gold work onto design. And
Oh,
apparently
wow.
it's used a lot in shows like Bridgerton and
Mhm, mhm.
by fashion designers and stuff. So this was a remnant that we basically fought over and decided we'd buy and cut in half so that we could each have some. But it was also heavy, so we ended up mailing fabric home. Um, 50 fifty
Never done
dollars
that
cost
before.
to mail fabric home. Yeah, but it was heavy.
I bet. So this has got like stuff encrusted on it, or am I understanding
It's
that right?
like
Or
gold stitching. It looks like
okay.
chains, a machine chain stitch on it.
Hmm.
And it's just the colors were so pretty. And they had these designs printed on really lightweight kind of chiffon kind of fabrics, but also on velvet. So I bought a
Oh,
chunk of velvet that I'll use to make a bag because I don't have enough bags.
do any of us? Ah, this.
Oh
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
that's the velvet piece. So that's a
Oh,
Japanese design. It's not designed in Japan, but it's kind of a Japanese
mhm.
influenced.
Yeah, I
Um,
can see that. But this is
yeah,
just sumptuous. And to think it's velvet. Oh, oh.
it's velvet. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, you think like a carpet bag type of thing would be beautiful.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um, that's in my future.
Oh, and then this one.
Oh, and this
This
is
looks very William Morris. I don't know if
it's
that's
William Morris
okay.
design. It feels like Liberty. It's lawn, but I don't think it is Liberty. It was too inexpensive to be Liberty. But it's so yeah.
Very lovely. I love those sort of botanical designs. I mean, I guess you could
Yeah.
kind of pick out a William Morris, from a
Yeah.
distance. You're like, "Ah, I know
Yeah.
what that is." But
Yeah.
yeah, that's beautiful. All
Yeah.
right. Ah, more gorgeous
Oh,
things. So
this was at the
is this the
Victoria and
V&A?
Albert. Yeah.
Oh,
So this was 20th century fashion. Um, so things like Terry Mugler, um, Kea Pirelli, um, those beautiful, beautiful clothing. Oh, it's just
right.
stunning.
Yeah. So
And
the
they had
names we know.
shoes and handbags and oh, hats. It was beautiful.
And like it looks like here in the background they have this dressmaker's form and then it's got like letters tacked to it. I
Uh,
mean, I guess
I don't remember what the letters were native, but
yeah,
I forget.
that's it. I like seeing these kind of displays that, they're not
Oh,
just the
yeah.
thing to look at, but that it's got this story about it. And I always think
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
windows, like window displays, like really fancy window displays when I see these things.
Hmm.
Ah, those shoes.
Uh,
Ah.
the shoes, they were just to die for. And you could wear those shoes are probably 75 years old, but they would look beautiful even now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Timeless.
Little tiny turned up toe, and I'm guessing this is like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
shorter kitten heel, maybe,
Ex-
or like a
yeah,
shorter
they were
heel.
kitten heels. Yeah.
Ah, more encrusted beauty.
Well, that was the dress the shoes went with.
Ah, okay.
So yeah,
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Gorgeous. And so, is this a top and a skirt kind of?
I think it was a dress, if I'm not
Okay,
mistaken. It does look like a top and skirt, but I'm pretty sure it was a dress.
gotcha. Oh, this is
And
lovely too.
this was a little miniature. It's I don't know if it's maybe half size or third size. It
Yeah,
was
that's
so
what I was gonna
cute.
ask. Yeah, this is
Wonderful.
like a little dressmaker sample, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I guess that's they made up the designs in half scale
mhm.
and then decided how it whether it was going to work or not, I guess.
Or it's
All
for a
those
very cosmopolitan child.
well, that very large busted cosmopolitan child.
No,
Excuse me.
I know it's those fashion houses did these half-size things a lot,
Yeah,
didn't they?
yeah,
Or
they
I don't know,
did.
maybe they still do.
But
I don't know a whole lot, but go ahead.
maybe it's cool that it survived all this time.
Hmm. Yeah, all those pleats. I mean, just
Yeah.
how beautiful. And I guess you wouldn't want to put all those pleats into something if it doesn't work out on the big scale. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I
These
suppose.
small
Yep.
scale items. Oh,
And that's
beautiful.
the eating dining area in the V&A. So
Mm.
pretty.
So I think about the dining area at the Smithsonian, which was probably the last museum eating area I went to, the cafeteria there. It's in the basement. It's
Yeah,
not as lovely as this.
not the
Now, many
same.
museums around us have very beautiful spaces, but when I think about like,
Yeah,
a big um national type of museum, this definitely blows the Smithsonian cafeteria out of the water.
and the food there was so good. It was amazing. Not just, hot dogs and sandwiches.
Oh, tapestries.
Then we looked at the tapestries. We went through this whole museum to find this room with the tapestries, which was way at the back. You had to walk through 8 other rooms to get to it. Um, these are all they're Dutch tapestries from around 1500
Hmm.
and beautiful shapes. But there's one, hopefully, there's the one with the chatelaine on it. You keep going. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is
See,
this,
they're
I think,
all it's like everybody in the whole tapestry. And I thought, this is amazing. I need one of these to wear my scissors around my waist all the time.
the Chatelaine fanny pack.
Stuff's at the top with the sheep and stuff. They all have them. It's like 16th century fanny packs with all your tools handy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
a tool belt. Yeah, I could go for that for sure. I'm curious to know what is happening between this man and woman.
It's a kind of a courtship dance sort of thing that on a day of the year they did this kind of like she was pretending to resist his advances,
Oh,
something like that.
okay.
So
Because
it looks like she's fighting him off, but it's not. Apparently, it's more.
yeah, I wasn't sure. Kind of looks like she's mugging him, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I love their shoes too. Their shoes are wild. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, the medieval period is very interesting.
Hmm. And the colors after all these years.
Right.
It's
Yeah. The V&A certainly takes care of their stuff.
yeah, they get
And you,
each one gets cleaned every 5 years.
hmm.
Take
Yeah. And
care of that.
I would imagine that these were prior to the V&A's acquisition, these were in some place where they were very well protected.
Yeah.
So
Apparently
very
Henry
cool.
VIII owned thousands of tapestries. Something like 2,700
Oh my
tapestries.
gosh. I can imagine all of the fingers that went into creating this work.
Yeah,
Tapestry work
yeah.
is just as tedious as needlepoint and cross stitch and all the things that we
Absolutely.
do today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this was your
Oh,
high tea, correct?
we had to have tea. This was a dome. You had your own personal little dome out in a garden. It was very nice.
Now,
This
where was
before.
this? This was the
It
Secret
was,
Garden. Oh, it was a
yeah,
hotel.
place beside our hotel was called the Secret Garden. Um, eh, just nowhere special, just happened to be right next to our hotel.
Well,
And
we
the
don't have.
price of high tea varies hugely across the city. If you can
Really?
go to Fort Mason and it's 80 pounds, which is probably about $100 US.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So $100 to have
Well,
some tea and tidbits.
yeah, this place was a little more reasonable, and it was lovely.
So, as a non UKer, did is there some kind of explanation you can provide of what's the difference between high tea and like lunch?
Well, high tea you usually have later in the afternoon, like after 2 o'clock, between 2 and it consists of sandwiches, scones, and jam and clotted cream, which is sort of like heavy whipped cream,
Uh-huh.
and
So
then so,
it's your
some
pre-dinner
little
snack?
want to eat dinner after you had it. It's pretty filling.
Yeah,
Um,
I always hear the UK, they have all of these quaint little like elevensies and
yeah,
tea
yeah.
and
If you go to the Festival of Quilts in Birmingham, the whole floor clears out at 11 a.m. to go have your tea, and again at 3. So it's like lemmings going to the sea when the which is a great
well,
time to see the show because it's all gone for tea.
this is true. Yeah, I no complaints for me though. I think it's quite fine to have to eat several times a day.
Well, sure. And was the food was so good. This is the little
Yeah, these
cake with
little
the
oh yeah, these little cakes with the edible flowers.
you can eat them, but I didn't.
They don't taste
I'm
very
just
good.
still, uh,
Um, but what a
don't
cute
cook
little
for me.
dome. That's so cute
Oh, they
too.
were so sweet. And they had heaters in them, although we didn't need it, but if it was a cold day, they were heated and it was right beside a church that had little
And
pretty
so
little
that's what this
windows and
is.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some areas are so charming, and I mean, we have charming things here. You have charming things in Canada, but I don't know. There's just something about like this kind of stuff that I'm just like,
We don't have
oh,
the age. We
yes,
just don't have
correct.
the age thing. So it's not as charming. Yeah, you're right. Charming is a good word for it.
Hmm.
So that's the after.
The spoils.
Yep. We ate every last cup of that food.
Oh yeah, I would
And the
have.
flowers were out, which at home here in Canada, they weren't out yet. So take the obligatory garden pictures.
Yeah. Oh, it just looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
All right. Um,
All right.
the obligatory Big Ben.
But yeah, and this is the first time I've seen it without scaffolding. It
Oh,
was my
okay.
third trip to London, and every time it's had scaffolding all over it. So that was good.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know. I guess maybe they restore it or work on it or clean it or something every so
Well, it,
often.
it took must have taken them about 10 years to restore it. But it's really nice. It sparkles in the sun and the gold on it is beautiful.
I just always think of, look, kids, Big Ben. I think it's
Yeah.
National
Yeah,
Lampoon's
there it
European Vacation.
is. Exactly. It's like, yeah, you have to take a picture of it just to prove you were there.
Okay,
Oh,
Westminster
this is
Abbey.
Westminster Abbey where the coronation was and the royal weddings and stuff. So that's the throne, the actual throne.
Yeah, and I suppose you're not allowed to go sit in it or anything.
Oh, no, it's glassed off. You can't get near it. And that's the grave of Isaac Newton.
Oh, okay. Yes, I knew he was
Fancy.
buried there.
Yeah,
This is quite
very fancy.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, that, yeah, the seats for the Commonwealth countries
I
for when they have
see.
the, High Commissioner of the countries
Gotcha.
go to.
Gotcha. Okay. A little colonialism there.
Yeah, exactly. And
Um,
that's the king's chair when he goes to church
oh,
there.
okay.
He does very
And
often, apparently.
this is the Windsor coat of arms, right?
It's the royal family, like,
The royal family. Okay. So the with the unicorn and the lion with his
or
crown.
maybe the United Kingdom's. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I don't know.
I'm
They
not a
have
big
so many devices over there. No offense,
yeah,
people of England and the UK.
yep.
I
And
mean, the
that's
opulence is just,
the opulence. And because we did the private tour, we could go behind that wall where the altar is.
mhm.
So um, there's a whole little room in behind that wall where there's another altar that's private.
Oh, oh, the
So when
private altar and
when
and
they
green
have
room.
royal weddings, they go there to sign the register. And and if you watch the coronation, the king goes in there to change out of his shirt into his royal robes.
Oh, okay.
So,
So
but you're not
fancy.
allowed to take pictures in there.
Oh,
And
beautiful,
there's,
beautiful, beautiful.
oh yeah, just stunning.
Yeah, we have a few good cathedrals here in the US, but I do have
Yeah,
to
you
say the
do.
churches and cathedrals and things in Europe are just in the UK
Oh,
are just stunning.
yeah, yep.
More finery.
More finery,
Um,
yep. No Tudor roses.
yeah, and the roses, I actually was just reading about this the other day. It's the War of the Roses, and when they came together, they had the double rose
Yeah,
device
yep.
to show, yeah, more finery.
That's a modern window, the blue one, which is
Ah, okay.
nice.
And then is
And then
this
there's a bunch of pictures of queens. Um, I think that might be Elizabeth the First.
okay? Yeah, I was trying to see.
It's in Latin. I
Yeah, a
don't.
bunch of Latin. Something about Scots and Jacobites. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
Just kidding. Who knows?
something like that. Yeah, I'm like you. Like, no idea. So when they were renovating, they found this original wall that had been covered up, and were able to. So that would have been from when the cathedral was first built, like 1,000 years ago.
That's just insane to me. And
It
you hear
is.
these, you hear this stuff a lot. I actually was just reading something the other day, like what they go through when they're doing any kind of renovations or breaking ground for a new building or whatever. They had like whatever they find has to be like vetted,
Yeah,
is it,
yeah.
is this a historical antiquity thing? Are these the bones of somebody who was just murdered, or is it from the Viking era? Like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yep. But they haven't uncovered the other side, which I thought they would have done to see if there was more under on that
Yeah.
side.
All in good time. All in
Yeah,
good time.
I guess.
All right. Oh, I
Oh,
think
this
I
was
remember this
Hampton
picture.
Court.
Yeah.
This was great. This was where the Royal School of Needlework is. And we
Yes.
really, really tried to get a tour, but they only do tours Wednesday to Saturday, and we were there on a Tuesday, so couldn't see it. So this
Oh,
is
it's a
where
shame.
a lot of Henry VIII's tapestries are hanging up.
Ah, okay.
This was a great room of some sort. So this was interesting. The elephants, like 500 years ago, they had tapestries of elephants, but the elephants are a little wonky. You can't see
Mhm.
their feet in this picture, but their feet were very strange. So it was kind of neat. They had access to these animals, but weren't quite sure how they were supposed to look, I think.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they brought in animals and things to like the royal menagerie and everything. It's
Yeah,
interesting that,
yeah. They would
yeah.
seen them, but maybe not the tapestry weaver. Maybe didn't get a good look. Something.
Well, they have toes, they're wearing flip-flops.
Well, yeah, they almost look like they're wearing shoes or something. Like they
Yeah.
have hoof instead of elephant feet, something.
Oh, interesting.
A little weird.
Oh, poor elephants.
They tried. That was
And
I don't know who that is, but I like the painting.
okay, I was gonna say, is
The
it Anna
hat.
Cleves or
No, it's
it's Lady Vo? Oh, it's Lady Vo. Is it she? She was a lady in waiting, I think. And
yeah, yeah, something like that. So just thought it
hold
was a very
on.
cool painting. But the hat, can you imagine wearing a hat like that all the time?
I know. And yeah, I've seen because I've done historical costuming stuff and I've seen
Oh,
like what that structure looks like. And what's really funny is very rarely do you see that from the back. So it's kind of everybody's guess as to what the back of that looks like. So you can only guess. You're like, well, it's a veil kind of thing, and this like cage that goes on your head and stuff.
mhm.
But who knows? The back could have been something crazy. We just don't know.
No idea. Yeah.
Ah, the grounds.
Gardens, yeah, grounds. So nice.
And this is like a series of like little water features with
Yeah, bunch of fountains. We didn't
fountains
actually
and things.
walk back there. It was a lot of walking. My feet were tired. And little paintings on furniture and stuff. Beautiful. Nice thing about Hampton Court and other places like that is that they're very much user friendly. There's chairs you can sit on, and they're not all roped off so that you just can stand back and look. You really can get in and move around them, and I thought that was
Oh,
very
that's
cool.
nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's well, it's nice to hear about accessible
Hmm.
attractions.
Yeah,
Um
yeah,
I also know that I know in the UK there's is it the National Trust or something
yeah,
that takes
yeah,
care of a lot of this stuff,
yeah.
and they're very inclusive and accessible.
They are. They're really really nice to tour. This was Henry VIII's house with all his wives, and where his daughters were born, and his son, who only lived to be about 13. It's
Hmm.
a really interesting place.
Yeah. All those poor wives.
And that's where the Royal School of Needlework is. Can you imagine going there to stitch all day?
I yeah, I mean I just I think about that, I mean there's some interesting places. I mean, I want to say there's the School of Historical Dress is also in some place like that.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
I don't know, the Shakespeare's Globe Theater or something like that. It's not where it is, but such
And
pretty
they had a
flowers.
tulip festival on while we were there.
Oh, very cool.
Mhm.
Ah, there's the Royal School of Needlework banner.
We did go to the gift shop, which was very, very cool.
Okay, so the Hampton Court gift shop has all the goods then.
Well, they had a separate gift shop for the Royal School of Needlework. It's away from the rest of the gift shops.
Gotcha. So that the trifling regular visitors don't mess up the
Yeah,
thread.
they probably weren't as interested as we were. But then it hailed when we were about to leave to go back to the tube, so
Yeah.
it's not cool.
Yeah.
Probably the
Well,
only weather we had.
yeah, well, at least you got some beautiful views before the weather,
Yeah,
which I know this area of the world is notorious for
it
their
is,
rain.
and we lucked out.
Okay. I believe next in your pictures we go to
Oh,
Nantes.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Nantes. So pretty. The
More more
square where our
charming. Yeah, extremely
oh, pretty.
historical stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, old buildings, and um the day we arrived, they did a walking tour of the town. So, so pretty.
Awesome. You know what? Let me make sure that there's no questions.
Oh,
I
good idea.
forgot to check. Ha! All right. Oh gosh. Okay. Let me go back through the question, all the comments. Oh boy, you guys have been chit-chatting. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you guys had a good weekend. Good, good. Yay. All right. Druid's been working on a project. Robin's had her daughters over. Let's see. Ah, Druid, I hope your pinched nerve is better. That stinks. Okay. I think mostly we were chit-chatting. Orton Bird Nerd also took pictures of floor tiles.
Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah.
Season 3 of Bridgerton. You know what, you guys? I am a very bad person. I've never watched Bridgerton,
Oh, you
nor
need to
have.
watch Bridgerton.
Yeah, I know
Just
people
the
keep telling me
costumes.
that. Exactly. Yes. And Downton Abbey also never watched it.
Oh,
And you
again.
know what's terrible is that was on the whole time I was very much, you know, doing all that kind of stuff. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I guess I'm just a bad person. Oh, and here's what I have. Look at what I have up on the screen. Share a quilt for quilt study. All right, let's get back to your okay,
Yeah.
back to your thing.
No.
Um yeah. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. Before we get into the show, let's look at the video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let's look at this.
You didn't watch the
Um
whole video. It's about 5 minutes long, I think.
yeah. Okay.
But it's my 5 minutes of fame on here. 5 seconds of fame.
Oh my gosh, look at all the people.
It was lined up Wednesday and Thursday.
There.
And it was packed.
Australia. Oh my gosh, all the people.
Yeah.
How pretty.
That quilt was phenomenal. You can take.
my gosh, that was so awesome.
Oh, it was, yeah, I would go back in a heartbeat. It's so good.
So, yeah, I don't, hopefully the sound was coming through. If it was not, it was mostly in French. So
It was mostly French. Yeah.
I caught a few words here and there. Magnifique, beaucoup. Yes, indeed. And
Yes.
Carol, who is the leader of oh, no sound came through. I'm so sorry, you guys. Actually,
Um,
let me grab, in case you want to rewatch it, I will grab you the link. Um, and you could see Tish in the beginning saying, I'm
yeah.
Tish.
Hi.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, what a I mean, just eye candy. Oh my gosh. Did you see stuff that you never got around to see in that video?
Oh, the stuff that I would like to see again for sure.
Yeah.
I think I
I
saw pretty much everything. Um, I tried to skip things that I could find at home, quilt fabrics
gotcha.
and stuff that
So
kept
how
to.
many days was it?
It's 4 days, Wednesday to Saturday. And you know how at QuiltCon it gets busier and busier as you get through the days.
Hmm.
Totally different there. Wednesday and Thursday were crazy busy. Friday and Saturday, dead.
Really?
I
That's
think
so
it
interesting.
I think it's how like their family values for how they spend their weekends. Um,
Oh, okay.
you know, they don't seem French people, I think, spend more time with their families on weekends and don't do that sort of thing so much.
Oh, interesting. Because I,
Um,
I mean, it's completely opposite here.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
I gotta work on Wednesday and Thursday, but I'll take a long weekend, Friday, Saturday, to go to,
yeah.
some kind of
Well,
event.
the French people I spoke to that were there, it was a school holiday. So um I've talked to quite a few people who were teachers that had vacation time, so that's why they could be there and take classes. So I don't know if they plan it that way, but I expected there to be families on Saturday, toting the kids along, but there weren't.
No, interesting.
So,
Oh, so interesting. But it
yeah,
looks like it was certainly crowded. I
it
mean,
was very
yeah.
crowded Wednesday, Thursday. Yes.
All right. So
All right.
start looking at fabrics
This
and
is
things.
the this is a class that I took, cantha stitching with silk thread on indigo dyed silk.
Oh, wow.
It feels so nice in your hands that I love working on it. I will be sad when it's finished because it feels so nice.
I have to
I
say, yeah, stitching, hand stitching on silk things it's like butter.
Yeah,
Very nice.
and silk thread is like to die for. I
Hmm.
don't know how I missed it my whole life, and now I find it. Yeah. So that was the teacher sample.
Gotcha. Okay. So this was her
Mm,
sample. Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Gorgeous. And this is an overhead.
yeah, that's the whole show.
Oops.
Oh, so I did a gold work class, and I always thought that to make that the shape, you twisted the gold threads together, but no,
Hmm.
you cut them into little ridiculously small pieces and thread them on a needle like beads. So
Oh,
they sort of
okay.
over like hook around each other. I don't know, can't hold my finger.
Okay. And
So
so this is that like twisted gold, like,
yeah,
what is
it's
it
like a
called? It's,
gold filament that's like a spring. If you were to pull it apart, it would be like a tiny, tiny slinky of gold.
yeah. And I know that I've done a project with this stuff before and it's a little finicky
It's finicky and it's stupid expensive.
because gold.
So I was going to bring a kit and do more at home. No, didn't come home with me because I would have needed way more money.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you have to prioritize, right?
Yeah,
Spend a ton of money on gold or spend a ton of money on lots more things than gold.
yeah, exactly. But it was fun to do. And then that was the teacher sample too. That was somebody who's on Instagram as Stitchy Woo Woo. you can believe it.
Ah,
Um,
I like that. Stitchy woo woo.
she it was embroidering these little dolls in 3D. She had already stitched them together, so it's hard to hold on to something and stitch because you can't. It was really hard to bury your threads and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
I guess yeah, it's flat versus dimensional. I'm actually sewing on some dimensional stuff right now, and
oh,
it's a
I
little bit
love
harder than working on flat stuff.
most of this class was in English, but most of my classes were in French. And
Oh.
the teacher spoke a relatively good amount of English, but there were enough people in the class who could speak English and French that, and they were really happy to translate. They were lovely. So I was a little worried about the taking classes that were taught in French, but wasn't a problem.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I would have stressed out about that and been like, ah.
Yeah. Oh, and that was this company, Auvera Soie. It's a needlework store in Paris. They had the you kits that they sold to make these little pennants with the French theme, and
Oh,
then they had a vote. The bottom right hand corner on your screen with the blue tassel, that was
mhm.
mine.
Oh, okay. Cool. How fun.
And it was silk thread. It was so nice to work with.
Awesome. Yeah. So this
Yeah,
is a
there
close
it
up
is.
of yours.
Yeah.
Bonjour. I love it.
Bonjour.
Is that on felt? Is it like a felt
No, it's
backing?
linen, but it's got a cardboard backing on it. And when you sent it
Mm,
back to them, they put the eyelets in it so they could hang them up like pennants.
gotcha. Well, they look very cool. And I mean, they're all red, white, and blue, I guess. The French
Yeah,
flag, right?
yeah, that was the colors they sent. Yeah. So
And then
that
what is this?
that's the outside of the building that it was in.
Ah,
It was beautiful. It
okay.
was covered in wisteria that was in bloom. So it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's the XXL? Is that
I
just the
think it
name?
was the name of the venue.
Okay. Very cool. Very interesting to see these other conference center sort of things
Mhm.
in other places.
Yeah.
All right. So this was that beautiful little
That's the
old,
like the courtyard where the hotel was.
yeah.
That is the opera house that was across the courtyard from the hotel.
Just an opera house across the
Opera
street.
house, but in the daytime when it was warm and sunny, the steps were just covered with people having their lunch and
Mm-hmm.
enjoying the sun. And this was part of the walking tour. This is one of the first indoor malls in the world.
Oh,
It's in Nantes, in that particular area. There were a lot of brothels, and people didn't want to go there to shop because they didn't like the locale. So they built this mall indoors so that it could be a little more um, high class for people to hang out there.
the high
There was
class
one
mall.
store, my favorite store there sold only sardines, like you do, only sardines.
Like you do in France.
Yeah, that was the Olympic symbol, sort of
Okay.
weird looking creature.
He's a little, what is he?
I think it's supposed to be a pigeon, but I'm not entirely sure.
What an odd little creature.
Very odd.
I mean, I know so in Japan they have the adorable little mascots, and I know that was,
Hmm.
a big part of like Tokyo Olympics and stuff, but yeah, all right. Oh,
That
what is
was
this?
a restaurant that we went to. It was called Le Cicadi, the cicada.
Oh, yep, you could
On
see
that
that on that little,
sign there. Yeah.
yeah, little cicada guy.
Yeah. And the local specialty is something called Nantes cake,
Oh,
which is a sponge cake with a rum glaze on it and then icing on top. So
oh,
it was
well,
it
I
was
wouldn't turn that away.
tasty. Let's just say, yeah, had it more than once because it was so good.
Oh, how
That's
pretty.
the grounds to the right there is where the exhibit was, and then those were just the grounds that um led up to it. So where your arrow is, those were food trucks.
Ah, okay. Like it was a beautiful day.
Yeah, and you could go down to the end there and overlook. Oh, there's our football club bus. So yeah, it was very fancy.
Nice.
And I thought
Hot Dog Day Toronto.
Toronto, yeah. Like what is that? We would call that street meat here, but yeah.
Yes. So let's see.
Well,
Bread, artisanal bread,
hmm,
Viennese sausage,
yeah.
or sauteed tomatoes and
Tomato
paprika,
sauce with
tomato sauce. Okay. With
smoked paprika,
paprika, cornichons, so
cornichon,
pickles,
pickles.
crispy onions, yellow mustard. And is
I
this
don't know what that last thing is.
onions? I don't know.
No,
Interesting.
no, I
Huh.
don't know. That's not like any hot dog I ever had in Toronto, but sure.
It sounds like they're trying to make the Chicago dog.
Well, I think it's supposed to be like mustard relish and ketchup and onions, but
Wow.
oh, that was some street art.
Okay, their street art looks like Renaissance painting.
Exactly. Like no, it's not graffiti, it's actual art.
That's funny. There's a this graffiti pretty close to where we are that they keep painting over, and then somebody keeps coming and
Mm,
putting it back.
yeah.
It's an alligator. It's just a
Oh,
cartoon
okay.
alligator.
Well,
Does
it
not hold a
works.
candle. Ah, this.
Oh, this
This. So
this
tell us about
quilt
this.
was so cool. I think there's a close up. I
Is
don't
there?
know if I put close up on Instagram though.
Is that Christopher
Oh,
Wilson
have you
Tate?
heard of Christopher Wilson Tate?
His name sounds familiar.
He has a shop in London that sells vintage quilts. The prices that he was selling them for were ridiculous. So the most mundane of the stuff that he had at the show to sell was started about 900 euros. So that's about $1,000 US.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
For quilts like on that auction that you had on one time would have
Hmm.
sold for a couple $100. So yeah, we
Yeah,
have
the dealers, especially if they're well known, they can command some prices. And Word and
yeah,
Bernard says she got a quilt from him, an Irish quilt.
yeah. So this was I think this one was from Scotland. It was
Okay.
a signature quilt, but the
Ooh.
people obviously embroidered their own little picture on it. So I think she's playing badminton, but my first instinct was to think she was swatting flies.
Yes, that's what I was saying. I was like, is she swatting flies away from her dog? Is she getting ready to hit her dog? Is that a dog or a cat? But yes, badminton. Badminton seems
Whatever you
right.
like. Yeah, I looked at it for the longest time thinking those were bugs she was swatting. Yeah,
Too funny.
that's
Oh, look at this. The lovely cat.
cute.
Little calico cat. Tray and a bowl.
Yeah, a teacup, I guess. Maybe tray. Maybe.
Oh, look at that.
I looked that up. It's Greek or Latin or something.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Okay.
And I don't think I took a picture of the sign that was with this quilt. Big oversight.
Oh, teacup. Yeah, these are really lovely.
Nice, yeah. Oh, okay, here it is.
So this one's 1880.
Kirkcaldy. Kirkcaldy is in Scotland, I think. 1880.
Okay. And then so this one back here, the first one, that is 1850.
1850, yeah, from England, from Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire. Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
just, when I saw the picture of this, I was like, oh,
Oh, yeah, it
I
was
just want to stare at it. Look at all the horses.
the
Oh,
horses and yeah, the little pictures, hearts and things on it. Yeah.
really charming. Yeah.
Oh, and then this was it was applique flowers, but then they embroidered on top of the flowers, and it's on velvet. So it's a table runner or a bed.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
And so is this contemporary?
No, I think it was old.
Oh, okay.
Don't have
So
a
it
close.
seems like, and I mean, these were cut out like, I mean, it seems to me that they are, this is like
Yeah, it's
broderie
cut out.
purse.
Yes, yes, it's very much like that. And then embroidered on, overlapped,
Very
and
nice.
yeah, it was beautiful.
And a
And there
sampler.
was a lot of 19th century samplers, 18th century samplers in this part.
Ah, that's pretty.
There's no dates on a lot of them though.
Yeah, interesting because I mean, I know the ones that I've seen people collect here from the US are either they're dated or they have the person's
Yeah,
name and
yeah.
their age on it.
No, these ones, and they didn't have a lot of labels on these things.
Yeah, I guess they probably don't know where they
Yeah.
came from. Now, this is interesting.
That was a really cool quilt. Quite like a Maltese cross and fleur de lis. That one was French.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and
but
what
the
I've noticed,
rest of it is
French
quite
quilts,
simple.
yeah, French quilts, just, there's just something about them. I don't know that I can always put my finger on it, but I don't know if it's the color combinations or just the motifs. They're always a little bit different than than we're used to
Yeah.
looking at, I think.
But the border obviously was pieced because you see that one striped part at the bottom doesn't
Hmm.
go all the way across.
Right, yeah.
And then there's in the top left, there's a patch where but the hand stitching on these was so fine. Like, oh man. Oh, there was a label for that one.
They don't have a date though, do
Provence.
they?
No.
Yeah, I'm seeing the Maltese cross center
Maltese
floors.
and fleur de lis. Yeah.
Oops. But yeah, this I mean it looks very scrappy and
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
it's the kind of scrappy I love. It's very, very
Yeah. Yeah.
colorful.
More samplers.
Yeah.
I
And
used to
I'm very curious about these. Like are would they be contemporary to the samplers we find or these older?
um older. I don't know. You get some really old ones in the United States there. I'd say they're probably 17th, 18th. So that one's 1820. It's like
Hmm.
1825. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
I
look at
love
this
this
one.
one. But these quilts, these French quilts, they are only two layers. There was no batting layer.
Ah, okay.
So
Interesting.
um but I love the fabric and the bottom fabric with the person there. That
Yeah,
was
and was that not that's not pieced. Like that's a whole piece of fabric that those.
no, it's Hexies. Oh,
So
maybe not. No,
well,
no,
that's what I was
it's
just
not.
wondering because I mean these you can see the hexes were, fussy cut, but
Yeah,
I'm wondering this was like the
yeah.
hexy ring was maybe placed down on
There
top
might
of
be a
this
close
image.
up of it if you go to the next picture. No, not. I
No.
have a close up of it. I'll look at it and see.
Yeah, but like I mean, what they've done here is just, again, so different than what we tend to see with this,
Yeah,
quote unquote, grandmother's flower garden sort of look, but, with this inner border
yeah.
and yeah, this
There's a
is,
green one there that's a camel.
yeah, right there.
Yeah. So yeah, that one, those don't look pieced, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'll take a close when they zoom in
yeah,
on them.
I've seen some of these, they're not toile, but they're like a, It's like an
Well,
upholstery print that these kind of things come from. Very French.
mhm.
Oh, this is the purple. Oh,
This was cool. Yeah. Those stripes are actual like pieced together strips. They're not, it's not a fabric with the purple printed on it.
gotcha. Okay. Oh,
The the half square triangles in the middle were in really bad shape. They were very worn.
feel lovely.
Mhm.
Ah, on the back. Oh my gosh.
Oh no, this was the front.
Oh, this is the
This is
front.
a,
This is not the back. This is
it's
like a
pieced
coverlet.
strips, but they're pieced perfectly so that the pattern lines up. And then there's one little patch in there.
Is that the little
You'd think they
patch
would
right
have
there?
patched it with something that matched the color, but
It's like there's something
oh
there. Yeah.
well.
Yes. So your forebear put this together perfectly. Now let's just choose something that is completely not like this to patch. But
But again,
I was
there
thinking
was
this was a
no
backing.
batting in it. It was a coverlet rather than a quilt because there's no batting.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you know, and I when I took a class online and it was Provence, but I'm trying to remember. I feel like it's maybe in these areas it's kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the climate there. They just don't necessarily need a batted quilt because you know, it's some of these areas of France where this stuff was made.
I suppose, yeah, the south of France you wouldn't need.
Right. Oh, the
And
goodies.
these are the goodies I bought. This was from the Paris flea market. So I bought vintage fabrics and the little figurines are a big thing in French flea markets. They put them in cake at Christmas and New Year's, king's cake.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
we have that here in
yeah,
Louisiana, they do that.
yeah, yeah. So that's what at least some of them were from. And then I bought some like an old sewing book and magazine kind of thing.
Hmm. Very cool.
And
I feel
mhm.
like every time I talk to people about, you know, going to either the UK or France or I mean, I guess to some degree maybe Austria and Italy have some of this too, but like the flea markets and the street fair kind of stuff is it's just full of good stuff and I'm like, oh, it's
Oh
really
yeah,
hit or miss here.
yeah, yeah. I think all the good stuff's been scooped up or is scooped up fairly quickly and
Yeah.
find.
So this is a great
And
view.
that's from the top of a store called Gallery Lafayette.
Okay.
So
Oh,
that's the inside of the store, the middle of the floor. It's
oh.
you.
Macy's does not look like that.
No, no. Mm-mm. Oh, and that was a display of this that jacket with all the colors on it was so
Yeah.
cool,
And
so
it
neat.
looks painted. Um,
Yeah, it's printed, but it was
mhm.
just really and in a wheat field like you do
Yeah, I think I
in the
remember
middle
looking
of
at
the
this
store.
going like, where they were growing some type of grasses there in the display.
Yeah, no, that's in the middle of the store.
Yeah, exactly. Oh
Oh, there's the
yeah,
back
this
of it. Like, look at that fabric. It's
yeah,
so cool.
very neat. And I'm wondering if it's like a painting or something that was printed on the fabric or oh,
I don't know.
lovely things.
And that was our hotel.
Hotel Duquesne,
Yeah,
another gorgeous view, not far from the Eiffel Tower.
there he is. And I came home via Iceland, which was very
That's
fun.
right. I forgot you. Yes. So what there was Was it a strike that was going to
Well,
happen
there was
or?
supposed to be a strike on the day I was leaving, and I thought, I don't want to get stuck in France on a weekend and not have a hotel room. So I
Right.
changed my
Yeah.
flight a day early and then stayed overnight in Iceland, which was very cool.
Yeah,
I
my
want to go back.
husband is a big fan. He spent some time in Keflavik where you were
Oh,
and
Catholic.
yeah, there's a US Naval base there and or was.
Okay.
I assume it's still there. Yeah, so he got to spend some time there and he has amazing pictures from his
Yeah,
trip there.
very, very cool. Very austere, but
Yeah, yeah, and culturally, I'm sure culturally, I mean, you obviously didn't spend a whole lot of time there, but culturally very, very different from the US and from Europe. They're just,
oh yeah, very Scandinavian, I would say.
mhm.
Yeah. So in the hotel, they obviously are used to making the most of the climate because that
Mm.
glass part at the end was the restaurant. And it was so no matter what the weather was like, it was nice and cozy and you could see the ocean and very cool.
Yeah, I think that yeah, Iceland and into the Scandinavian countries, they've kind of got that stuff locked down. Like they understand,
Yeah,
it's gonna be 12 hours of darkness, so we got to keep things warm and light.
yeah, exactly. No appreciate. Yeah.
Ah, so these were amazing. So
Oh, it
let me
was
stop
such a great
sharing.
trip. Highly
So,
recommend.
what was your favorite part?
Um, the show, the needlework booths and the classes I took, and yeah, just being able to buy stuff that you don't even dream of finding here.
Ah, I love it. I love it.
It's
Um,
really buckle.
so the show is supposed to go on, as you
Yeah,
said,
they said it's still going to run. I They had other sponsors besides
Quamania.
Mania, so I'm sure they're going to pick up the slack. And um, yeah, it's there is a tour that goes every other year from Canada. If anybody from North America wants to go, um, it's a good way. But the group we went with, I just Googled tours to pour l'amour de Fil and found that one. So, yep,
That's awesome. And it's
so
good
good.
to hear that you had a good experience because I have heard sometimes tours can be iffy depending on the
Well,
tour.
yeah, I didn't know if I would like tour because I don't like to be controlled that much, but it was, yeah, it was great.
Awesome.
It was small enough that, yeah, so good.
Yeah. So guys, do you have any questions for Tish? Was there anything that you had questions about? I just, I mean, I came into this, I told her, not going to be many questions. I'm just like, tell me everything and all of it. I didn't have anything
And
prepared.
I really tried to share all my pictures, but like I said, I'm a quilter. I'm not a computer person.
Totally okay. Yeah, like I said, it
Okay.
is totally fine. It's more, we have our priorities and sewing machine abilities, in my opinion, are more important than being able to manage screen share.
Yeah. So I appreciate you asking me stuff.
Yeah,
That was
I
fun.
appreciate you taking time. I mean, I was so enthralled with your pictures and when I found out that you were going to that show and I was like, oh, you know, I I
Oh,
don't
it's
see any time in my near future being able to get there. So, but yeah, it
but
seems to me that they had, yeah, like you said, different things. And
different. And if you're interested in needlework and vintage needlework tools and things, and it's a great show for that because there were a lot of vendors that had vintage um, fabrics and tools and it wasn't just new things. So
yeah, and it seemed to me, I mean, because it's not a quilt show, it's for the
not
love of
no.
sewing.
Well, that was the
So,
one thing I couldn't show you. There were You can enter a quilt into the theme of the show. And there were ribbons awarded, but when I looked at the ribbons, I thought, wait a minute, picture of a ribbon.
oh,
ribbon
That's right.
manufacturers sponsor a show and then have pictures of the ribbon as I was like, come on, do better.
Yeah, that was truly odd. And I think I
That
remember
was
you're the one who mentioned that. And I'm like, that is so strange.
not it. It's
At QuiltCon, they make them,
yeah,
right?
only give out 4 ribbons in this whole show. Why could they not make a real ribbon? Come on.
Well, so yeah, the
But
inflation, you gotta cut the corner somewhere.
yeah, I guess.
But yeah, no, it looked just so much fun. And I just love, these big events where people, it's really, it's great to be able to access all these things online, but to actually go and touch and see and, up
Yeah,
close and
yeah. And learn from people who know how to do things that aren't the normal kind of classes. So I
hmm
and that show was interesting that when they put out their classes, the um show classes, they keep adding to them as they fill up. So they would run the same class over once the first one was full, but then they kept
Oh, okay.
adding new teachers right up until like a couple weeks before.
Oh,
So it
interesting.
was not, you didn't have to worry about signing up on the day of sign up and or not getting anything. You could get into, and even the make and takes you booked online.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you didn't have to get there and
It's
fight,
mobbed.
which I really appreciated. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And, again, it's those kind of things you see that it's like you have some more perspective on, well, some show presenters and managers do things differently, and some of them turn out a little better.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, certainly was some good lessons in that one.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so exciting. We've lived vicariously through you. We truly appreciate it.
Yeah, well, hopefully there'll be another show in my future. So
Yeah, yeah. And
different one.
yeah, bucket list for me. I definitely, well, I want to get over to the Birmingham show.
Oh,
And I don't know if I don't think that's in the cards this year, but you never
oh.
know.
Yeah, I
So,
went 2 years ago and went for one day and then got COVID. So, yep, all
yeah,
that
well, COVID
way.
COVID tends to follow the quilt shows. So,
Yeah, well, you know that, yes.
I
Yeah,
do. I do. I
so
do.
so that was a disappointment because I had planned on that for so long. Uh,
Yeah.
oh well.
Dang COVID.
So I have to go back. That's all.
P-Log Quilt, Patty. I call Patty Plug Quilt. I love how they had the dresses with the paintings. So I'm glad she mentioned now I know a little bit more about John Singer Sargent.
Oh
And Robin
yeah.
says, thank you so much. It sounded like a wonderful tour.
Oh, you're welcome. That was good.
So I am going to let Tish get back to her life and I will leave you for now. But guys, don't forget tonight we also talk to Dawn. So I hope everybody can make that tonight. Again, it's Quilt Nerding on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, Quilt Nerding is back with our regular stuff. We're going to be reading the Legacy book. And I will be back on Thursday at 2 p.m. with our very special guest. Who do you guys think it might be?
I think I
And
know.
do you? Do
Like I
you?
said,
Okay.
if I'm wrong.
There will be a reveal before Thursday, but yes, I got confirmation this morning that this person will be here to hang out with us. So I hope everybody can make it on Thursday too. So thank you guys as always for being here. And I know it's great to see you guys. And yeah, the guesses are coming in and they may be right. All right, you guys, thank you so much, and I will see you soon. And I'm just going to end this, so it's going to just shut down.